Management Research. Hello and welcome to the Management Research podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Eugene. Hello and welcome to the next episode of my mini-series dedicated to the SWOT analysis. And today we're going to talk about something that I call the external validity. If you followed all previous steps, then you developed a kind of SWOT matrix and a strategy based on the SWOT matrix, and now the question arises, is it still a theory or can you really apply it? One of the big criticisms of the SWOT analysis is that it usually results in some theoretical, abstract things that may never come to life. In order to make them more tangible, you have to think about the external validity. So the plan that you developed, the strategy that you developed should also be implementable, should also be possible to implement and possible to succeed in. The external validity shows in how much you can generalize from your SWOT analysis to the real-life content. And this is the problem. You have some abstract things that we call the capabilities or competences. You have some weaknesses, which is actually the lack of capabilities. Then you have the opportunities, which is your understanding of some trends on the market and what is going to happen there. And you have very abstract, theorized understanding of the threats, probability of their occurrence times their impact. Now, the real situation may be different, and you need to be sure that the strategy that you developed will fit this real situation. And in this event, we need to look at other people, other situations, and other settings. We have a very rich world, and if you look for different cases, strategies, companies, people who succeeded and who did not succeed, you may learn from them a lot. Let's assume that you developed your strategy that is rooted, and we had an example of a person who is applying for a job position, and if you are a programmer and you want to use the skills, and let's assume your strength is the Python and the opportunities data analysts or business analysts. Can you find situations where people with this type of skills applied and succeeded in this work? Go to different forums, talk to people, call organizations, call different people whom you know, maybe some of your friends, and ask them about the situation. Call any big firm where you know a friend is working and ask them how did they hire their business analyst and what is their business analyst good at. And if you can find that somebody with the skills close to yours, who was good, let's say, in Python and some other thing that you have, succeeded in this position, you will find a kind of evidence that the strategy that you develop can be really successful. It is problematic, of course, if you cannot find these people. It may mean that your strategy is either so unique and so good that nobody tried it out and you are the good one, which is, let's say, a less likely situation, and most likely is you have to change your situation because maybe there is a misfit between your estimation of how the strengths can match the opportunities on the market. Look not only at the situation, but also on people, what kind of people they are, what kind of capabilities they have, and under which conditions or the settings when they applied for a position. Maybe they were in the first wave when everybody was eager to have the business analyst, and now the market is saturated and you cannot find a job. It means even though you may fit into this profile of a good data analyst, but the situation might have changed. That's why look at the situation, people and settings and other things that you can find. If you find evidence that people or other organizations succeeded with the strategy, then it may be the first good sign that you may also succeed with your strategy. Think about the implementation of what you have in real-life conditions. Is your knowledge of Python really applicable? Can you code it? If you go to an interview and they ask you immediately to code something, to provide your code, will you be able to do it? If not, then maybe your strategy will not survive the real-life conditions. If you have a firm that never worked in a certain market and you want to go to a new market, how can you be sure that it will be manageable, that you will manage to do it? There are many things that may have impact on this one. First of all, in your personal event, maybe some personal characteristics. You may see yourself as a successful programmer, but it can happen that you are not this type of person. That's why I try to find it out. But I assume that you will, as you already assumedly spend some time, develop the skill and even have some experience, it would be easier for you to understand whether you're right or wrong. For the organizations, it's not only about having the capability. In one of the papers that we developed, we write the capability is also about the motivation. Are the people in your firm motivated to do it? If you have the resources and you develop the competence, maybe under certain conditions, the people will be demotivated, going to new markets, experiencing change, being fired or hiring new people whom they may not like and so on, may demotivate people. It means when you actually face the battle, as the von Moltke said, that not a good plan survives the first battle. So more or less, if you have demotivated people, your plan will not survive the first battle. Think about the environmental change. What will happen if you join with a strategy and you assume it will work as it now is, but as you join the market starts changing. Your competitors will also change. Will you be able to respond to their change and also change your strategy accordingly? So these are the things that you have to bear in mind if you think about the real-life conditions and your strategy. Finally, the best way is, of course, to try it out and try out in the simple steps. Try the first step that you want to make. Try applying for a new job if you are, as in our example, a programmer who is searching for a new job. If you're a firm, try to bring the first product to the market. Try to make the first market research. Try to indicate that you're going to join the market and see how the market will respond. And in this event, you will see step by step whether the strategy seems to work. Analyze about the obstacles, possible risk during the implementation, because it's not only about the risk on the market, but you will face new risks when you try to implement your strategy. Try to find examples of similar successful strategies, maybe from other firms on different markets, but whether they applied a similar strength to a similar opportunity and succeeded or not. And if not, analyze the situation, try to understand and be ready that you may face the same challenge they faced. And it is also recommended that you develop a kind of list of scenarios, that you think about what kind of situations can appear, what kind of settings may change, with what kind of people you have to deal, in order to develop a kind of list of scenarios. Scenarios are not a perfect solution. I'm also criticized of this scenario technique, just because people rely too much on the scenario. But developing scenarios is important. If you develop different scenarios and a new novel scenario, actual new situation will happen, your knowledge, your skill in developing the scenarios will help you adapt dynamically and change your strategy on the go. And remember, the main rule is that strategy is not written in the stone, so you have to change it. If the situation changes, if the market changes, and the market is dynamic, other firms or other people respond to your strategy with their strategies, you will also need to be able to adapt your strategy. And finally, summarizing. Make your analysis on several sheets of paper. So the SWOT analysis is a lot of work, and it's not like written on the small piece of paper. It's usually several sheets of paper where you write down all the stuff that we discussed in previous episodes. Prioritize the items wisely. Think about what is the reason for the priority, what is your priority based on. And think about that actually need to focus on the strategy. Can it include everything? It would be great, but it's almost impossible. That's why I try to select the most important things and include them in strategy. If you make a mistake there, the strategy might not work. Then in the SWOT matrix, try to make it as simple as possible with only selected strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And actually try to present your strategy to somebody else and try to explain it to somebody else. Somebody from your firm, another manager, somebody who is your colleague or your friend, and try to explain what you have developed. If they understand and they think, wow, this is great, then your strategy has a good chances for survival. And don't forget to collect data, real data, make questionnaires, make observations, collect all the information you can on the market just to see that what you developed in theory may also, or with a high probability, will work in practice. I hope it was helpful and interesting. Wish you all the best and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.